Roger 3 called, 4121.
When I was a child, I used to think I was Georgie Girl. I don't mean I thought I was Georgie Girl, because I knew I was Tracey Girl, not Georgie Girl. But
34529.
I always somehow thought that, like in Georgie Girl, you know, someone does love her, you know, someone does, well, tells her it will anyway, but, you know, that she suddenly sort of comes out of her shell or whatever, and, you know, I haven't heard the words for ages, I've got no idea what the song's about, but anyway. But yeah, you know, the song tells her that she's better than she thinks she is, sort of thing. If she just allows herself, she'd be likeable and lovable and all that sort of stuff. And I can remember when I was a child, and when I heard the song, and I thought, oh yeah, that'd be me, you know, that's it. And I thought someday I'd just become nice. And of course I never did. All I did was grow older. I didn't become anything very much. Just kept on moseying along. Like Old Man River. Man River, that old Man River. You must know something, but don't say nothing. Just keeps on rolling along. Don't plant potatoes. Well, today it's Monday, the 17th of April, and because it's Monday, it's official weigh-in day. So, kind of got the cord in the way, I've got everything in the way. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but it is 105. I've put on 2 kilos in a week. This is the writing on the wall. At the end of 91, when I decided I wasn't keeping a record anymore, I weighed 110 kilos, and I had been 120 4 months earlier when I started. All right, now over here in 92, 12 months later, I weigh 130. That's 20 kilos I put on in 12 months. And that time I only got down to 124 here, just before Christmas, and then Christmas ruined it. And then I just stopped again after that. And this one here, this is pretty abysmal. Look at this, 1994. Only got as far as writing down the starting weight. God, look at 142.
Now, how would you rate yourself? Basically, current physical condition, basically, their well-being, from 1 to 10. If 10's great and 1's poor, basically, so you might just no idea roughly.
Well, say if Arnold Schwarzenegger's 10 and Senator Bob Collins is 1, because I saw him at the airport the other day actually waddling out to the car really slowly, then I suppose I'd have to be definitely under 5. I reckon...
3, 4?
Yeah, somewhere around 3, 4. Yeah.
It's all right.
Which is pretty awful.
Just drop your arms down.
You ready, George? Yeah, good girl. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on! You usually don't have to tell her twice. Just wait there, cow. Got your keys, yeah. I've had Georgia ever since she was 8 weeks old, and she's 14 now, so for 14 years it's been her and me. But the depression started way before I got Georgia. I was depressed as a teenager, which isn't uncommon, but I never grew out of it. I don't know how or why I got depressed. I only know that as it got deeper and deeper, I thought it would suffocate me. I felt separated from the rest of the world by a wall which I couldn't see, but which I felt the presence of every minute. The depression settled over everything like a very fine mist. It permeated every area of my life and I felt weighed down by it. I couldn't believe I'd ever have a normal life, and I envied other people their happiness. I felt uncomfortable around people, so I deliberately isolated myself even more, and then I was so lonely I thought I'd die of it. I wanted to die. I spent hours planning painless ways to kill myself. I sat alone at home and brooded over why my life was so bloody awful and I could never imagine a way out of it. But there must have been a bit of hope within me somewhere, because I occasionally had counselling to try to find what was wrong with me. Then in March of '94, I went to see a psychologist named Bernard Healy. And something I had always wanted to do was do an IQ test. I had always wanted to know what my IQ was, and I asked Bernard if he did tests, and he did. And so we did it over, I think it was 2 weekends in June of '94. And that was a turning point, because when, after we'd done these couple of tests, you do a series of, I don't know, it was about 4 or 5 parts to it or something, and turns out I got an IQ of 144. Yeah, right. Sure, I believe you, thousands wouldn't. I still reckon he made a mistake. But it was funny, and it almost made it worse to start with when he told me that. 144 didn't, 144, isn't that a gross? That was all I knew about it. But then he said it's the top 2% of the population. Oh, yeah, right, sure, You're kidding. Here I am, sitting there, a taxi driver, and not that good a taxi driver either, and just, up to my ears in debt and absolutely miserably depressed for years and years, and not many friends, and living on my own with cats as children and stuff like that. Yeah, I can tell I'm in the top 2% of the population. I've got this really great life, A week or two after we did the IQ test and I found out what it was, and I sort of had to hug it to myself to try and, to nurture it so it would be real. I didn't, like a tiny little candle flame, I didn't want it snuffed out. I didn't want to sort of wake up and find that it was all a dream. I wanted to be intelligent instead of being stupid all my life, And it was really funny, and I can remember a couple of times that I just, I told a taxi passenger, it wasn't sort of, I told a taxi passenger, but it wasn't just like they hopped in the car and I said, where would you like to go? And they said the airport, and I said, and did you know that I've got this really enormous IQ? Can you tell by looking at me? And it wasn't like that at all. But it was kind of funny just the same. Oh, damn camera keeps slipping. Stay over there, you son of a bitch. This is the ancestral home. Not really. They've only lived there for about, I suppose it's getting up towards 20 years now. Greyhound sheds down there. A greyhound run beside the house. Georgia getting excited because she's spotted Mum and Dad. Shut up. Lou?
On the couch, Georgia.
Cars on the couch, Georgia.
What are you doing there?
Well, I just got here. I'm not doing anything yet. Hi, Dad.
How are you?
Here's Dad in his natural habitat,
I believe.
the couch.
Hey?
What's that?
Had a nice trip down.
Oh, charming.
Stopped all the way.
Oh, just really slow, Ooh, and there's Georgia attacking him.
Rough, George. You're a rough dog.
That's because she wants him to take her across the paddock. And he won't get any peace until he does. They're no good.
What?
Those ones.
No.
Their mouth's too small.
We'll take that off and we'll,
I can't take it off. That's how you're going to do it on me.
No, I'm going to cut a pattern out on paper first.
Well, I don't think that'll be any good, because you won't be able to cut it like it is. You have to just do it on me.
I will. Take it off and I'll have a look. Let Mother do what she wants to do for a change.
It's my babies.
I've got to make them.
Famous pattern cutting for Geelong Addy. All the best pattern makers use it. Don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Go, Pa. Quick.
Go on, go with Pat.
Well. Come on. Got it. Come on, middle. All right. Come on.
I don't know why finding out about my IQ made a difference, it just did. I felt empowered by the knowledge. Suddenly I was interested in life. I wanted to do things, you know, change things about myself, and I just did. I lost weight, went back to school. I even started to socialise a bit more. If I manage to get down to my goal weight, I'll be about 69 kilos, which is half my original body weight. I tell people I'm looking forward to that time when I can sing that line from yesterday, you know. Suddenly, I'm not half the girl I used to be.
But where are you supposed to feel that?
Across here, across the lower back. Not really. Where do you feel it?
Oh, probably, no, the other side a bit, yeah, I suppose.
I think too, because you're sort of still leaning back a little bit.
Yeah.
You've got to sort of try and sit as upright as you can.
Yeah.
And then turn at the same time. That's all right.
Well, I can't turn very far.
You'll get there.
Oh, yeah, right.
When I was in the gym before, I was watching some of the other women. Fortunately, actually Saturday is a good time to go. I might try and go on Saturday, sort of, you know, morning to early afternoon more often, because there weren't many people there, and I like it like that. And I was watching some of the other women work out there. You know, women who are sort of like normal looking, normal size or whatever. I can't imagine what it would be like to look like that. I might not. I don't know. I might never look like that. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, obviously my basic body shape will stay the same as it is. It'll just be covered differently by flesh. And so I don't know when I get really down to, say, somewhere like where I ought to be, or I don't know how it'll feel to look more or less normal. Right, well, it's Sunday the 30th of April. So it's not a very good camera angle. I think you can see. It's about 102. Well, 101 and a half, 102, so I'm going to just say 102, which is same as last week. Boo hiss. Disappointment abounds. Diet. You're supposed to lose weight, aren't you? Looking for a bit of inspiration tonight from the guys. I find it a real chore training, or not training, working out at the gym and what have you, and I've got to do it in order to lose weight. So I've come here to see how they do it. Mind you, perhaps this isn't a really good week to look at them because they did lose last week, but never mind. They're fairly heroic even in defeat. I'm a bit worried actually, I haven't seen Gablet. Big Billy's there. Guess who's arrived? The man himself, Gablet. He's great. He always takes time to talk to the little kids around, just says a word to them as he's on his way past them. Unreal. See, with Gablet, well, with all my heroes really, I get a buzz when I see them doing this stuff. It's as though their triumphs are somehow a victory for me.
And 4 414, how long? Roger, thank you. 451.
I don't know when I first realised that I was sort of collecting heroes, as it were, because, I mean, I've got absolutely dozens and hundreds of them, and in fact I forget who half of them are half the time. It's only when I hear the name mentioned I think, oh yeah, that's right, they're one of my heroes too.
530.
And then there's everyday heroes like that I'm aware of all the time, like obviously people like Gablet that I hear about often, and Noel Watson, whose music I play at home all the time and stuff like that. You know, I don't expect them to do anything sort of superhero-ish. They're just like really good people who have done things that I find heroic, and I love them for that, you know. I mean, but why do people, you know, hang around the thing, and why do they all want to get in the rooms, you know, and sort of get around and slap players on the back and stuff like that? I mean, it's just that instant of time where you identify with your hero, and because you're standing next to him, you almost bathe in their glory, you know. Now, if it was Christmas time, that'd look a little bit like Gloria in Excelsis Deo, wouldn't it? Never mind, it's not Christmas time. Not even close, really. Right, now that's what I'm trying to show you. You can see, if I bring it down a little closer here, the grass is quite long. I basically enjoy living on my own. Well, I've had to get used to it, haven't I? In the last 15 years, I've lived about 11 on my own and 4 at Mum and Dad's house. In fact, I've only ever lived either on my own or at Mum and Dad's. Mind you, I'm not quite alone. I've got my babies, you know, Georgia and the cats. And I've got hundreds of books, which are also like a family to me. When I was a child, books were always more important than people. I mean, I don't consider myself to be an intellectual person. I'm not into opera and ballet and all that sophisticated cultural stuff, you know. I just like reading novels that I like reading because they're good stories, you know. I don't read all these deep and meaningful, you know, I've never read Dostoevsky or whatever his name is, you know. The only thing I know about Anton Chekhov is that he wrote The Cherry Orchard, and the only reason I know that because it's in Monty Python. Otherwise, I'd never have heard of him. When I found out my IQ, I really felt, well, I don't know, as though I'd wasted 34 years, I guess. So I thought I'd better get a move on and do something a bit more constructive with the rest of my life. And so I applied for this course, Professional Writing and Editing. And here I am. Ta-da! Several months back, bowling happily along when some blonde with a vacuum-sealed head does a screaming in front of him. And Charlie Ho calls himself Lucky, but after this lot, we're thinking of calling him Lucky Chucky. What I'd like to do is write children's books. I like stories. I want to be a teller of stories. That'd look great, wouldn't it? Occupation, teller of stories. I'd love that. I'd probably write, you know, author or something more straightforward, but I'd always think of myself as a teller of stories.
Oh, is that there?
Yeah.
4051. Roger, 3 call.
So I'm driving along and there's this guy standing there holding a pizza in a box, and he was hailing me, and I sort of thought, oh, geez, you know, young guy pizza, not a good combination. I think it was like a Friday or Saturday night, and I thought, oh, he's bound to be had a few as well, and he's going to want to eat his pizza, and he's going to make a mess, and I'm going to get really ticked off here. So I pulled up, did a Yui, you know, screaming Yui in Lygon Street, pulled up and fed Ingham. The car had hardly come to a stop when 4 guys, there's this guy and 3 others, which I didn't see, I only saw the one holding the pizza. 4 guys swarm into the car, and they're in before I could say anything. And they're all skinheads, you know, like straight out of Romper Stomper, although Romper Stomper hadn't been out then, but that's exactly what they look like. They look like 4 guys out of Romper Stomper, all pretty young, and I'm going, oh my God, what have I done? And he said, we've been standing there half an hour, you know, our pizzas are cold. He said, no one would pick us up. And I, you know, and I'm sort of kidding along with him, you know, like just sort of go along with the guy, and I said, gee, you know, fancy that, how could they do that, you know? And he said, yeah. He said, 4 nice young lads like us, you know, and all we've got our pizzas, and all we want to do is go home and eat it, and no one will pick us up. And I said, oh, well, maybe, you know, sometimes if they've got a, you know, passenger, no, they were definitely empty cabs and no one would stop for us. And I said, well, isn't that terrible? I said, well, perhaps they were on their way to a job, you know, like if they're, and he said, no, they had their vacant light on and there was no one in the car and they wouldn't stop and pick us up. And I said, well, how dreadful, you know. You know, this real mournful voice comes from the back seat. Oh, I'm starving. Can I eat me pizza? And I said, well, I don't usually let people eat in the car, you know, because I always make a mess. But, well, if you're going to, you know, promise you'll eat it all up and don't spill it, well, you know, I suppose I'll let... Oh, thanks, cab driver, you know, we're starving. And so they're pigging out there. Do you want some pizza, cabbie? And I'm going, no, look, thanks. It's kind of you to offer, but it's a bit hard to sort of eat pizza and drive, you know. Oh, of course it is, you know. Better do the safe thing. And they were just such dags, you know, real nice. I mean, as I said, I wouldn't like to meet them up a dark alley, but they were real nice kids. Just goes to show, you know, what's that old adage about not judging books by their covers? Well, I was busy judging books by their covers all over the place, and I was wrong, wasn't I? Go away. Go on, quick, out of the way. Good girl. How's that? Can you see that? See the sleeves are sloppy? There. And, I have to sort of, oh, sorry, microphone, I have to kind of pin that or something. Oh, I don't know. See there, I mean, imagine, there's no heaven, no. Imagine, like, if I could just breathe in like that for 45 minutes. Everything I put on makes me feel like a cow in a nightie. I don't know. Next. There's lumps. There's bits of me sticking out where I never wanted them to stick out. What am I going to do? Again, see, look, if I could, you know, if I could somehow just sort of look natural like that without turning sort of scarlet, that'd look a whole lot better. But I won't, and it won't. It'll look like that. And those hips, God. I don't know. Does it look... Oh. What does it look like? And why am I asking you? Maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all. I decided I'm going to sleep for about an hour. Sonny. Sonny, hey boy, come on. Bo, come on, sit down like a boy. Don't be a pest. Now you're not sitting there, go away. No, you know I don't like you there. Sit up on the pillow. Good boy. I'm so tired. Sonny! Get! Go on, no. I'm never going out for dinner on a Saturday night again. Last night, I went out for dinner with Joanne and Donald. Excuse me, Rosie, I didn't actually want to weigh you just at the minute. You're so beautiful. Don't play with the cord. Cow. Rosa, don't do it, naughty. And now it's 103. And I was 102 last week. That means it's another week when I put on a kilo. I'm never going out for dinner on a Saturday night for the whole rest of my life. I hate Saturday night dinner. Don't ever invite me, I'm not going. But I've got to start... Stop yawning. Shit, I'm going there, don't I? But I've got to start, like, getting back in control again. I feel as though, like, for 6 months or so, I really had power over food and it had no power over me, but it's starting to get the edge on me again, I'll tell you. Not completely, like, I haven't lost it, you know, haven't totally lost it, but I've still stayed off chocolate. I'm impressed about that. I've impressed myself with that. I've done well. But that alone is not enough. You know, there's a whole lot of other stuff I've got to stay off as well. At the moment, it's ice cream. Can you believe I'm eating ice cream? I hardly ever eat ice cream. That's the trouble. I eat things that I just like all the time, and not good. Well, not clever anyway. It might be good, taste good. That's about all. I liked it in the diet book. The guy said, I mean, I can't remember the exact words, but you know, the old Harvey Diamond, the guy that wrote it. You know, he's got this and I don't know. It's words to the effect that, you know, fancy letting your tiny little taste buds, which only take up like this much room on your whole body, fancy letting them dictate what goes, you know, what you put in your mouth to fuel the rest of your body. And like he's right, you know, fancy letting your tiny little taste buds rule what you put in your mouth, instead of saying to yourself, well, you know, I feel a bit hungry, so I'll have, you know, some life-giving, energy-creating, wonderful sort of salad or fruit or something like that. And what do I think? No, I think I'm really hungry, or I'm really tired and hungry, so I'll have a pizza and make sure I feel tired and hungry again tomorrow. You know, like, oh, come on. Idiot. Not to worry.
And 465.
Gary, how are you? Hi, name's Tracey.
Hi Tracey, how are you?
I'm good. Good game today, well done.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was, we were very close to sneak away with 4 points.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You down a little bit. You weren't able to get your usual, you know, sort of offline a little bit there, but...
Yeah, I found it a little bit hard there at the times. They had a bloke sitting back in the space and trying to catch middle. Also, the guy played on me, did a great job too, so we're just glad to get away with 4 points.
Good on you. Thanks a lot, Gary. Bye.
Unreal. I have just met my all-time best hero footballer. And there he goes. Jeez, he's good. Unreal. That's it. That's good. 5 minutes rowing and I'm exhausted already.
How's that? Scratch the camera across the Just sit down, it's all right. Come on. You all right? You're a bit choking. Sit down there. Come on, sit there with me. Sit down. Sit. Dumbass. There. Sit there with me. You're a good dog, aren't you? You're a good dog.
I turned on the answering machine because there were two messages in the phone. And then I heard a thud and I looked around and there was Georgia lying on the ground. And she was kicking her legs around and she couldn't get up, and she was thrashing with her legs and, you know, trying to get up, and she couldn't, and she was sort of shaking and making horrible groaning noises, and then she just went limp and stopped breathing, and I thought she was dead. And I've never lived, in all my life, I've never lived a moment so completely as that moment when I thought Georgia was dead. Nothing else that's ever happened to me, good or bad, has ever happened to me so totally and completely as that moment when I thought that Georgia was dead. She was just laying there on the ground, just like a little floppy doll. And her eyes were kind of glazing over. And I didn't know what to do. Oh dear. And of course, you don't need me to tell you that I was crying. And I was just calling her name. You know, Georgia, Georgia. And I was sort of, you know, rubbing her chest and her stomach and kind of just flipping her with my hands, sort of rolling her a bit and trying to stimulate her, trying to make her live, trying to love her back to life. And after a couple of 100 years, a few seconds, I guess, she sort of started groaning again, and I'm not sure if she was moving or if it was like spasms. There was movement, but it was still kind of floppy, and I don't know if that was her actually moving or if it was just like some spastic action of the muscles or something, I don't know. But anyway, it was pretty horrible. And so now she's got to take, he's given me tablets, heart tablets and arthritis tablets for her. I've been playing Noel Watson's music for years, and he's one of my best singing heroes. I just think he's a legend. One of my favourite Watson songs is the one about heroes. I reckon the song says that anyone can be a hero, anyone at all, because heroes aren't perfect. They make mistakes, they're human, and I like having heroes that are human.
So this is part of your buddy?
Yeah, well, see, one of my themes is heroes, right? And because you're my absolute hero, I just think you're wonderful. And actually, it's quite funny because I was just thinking the other day, like, how many people, when they meet someone, like, you don't actually go to someone and say, oh, you're my hero. You always say, oh, we really like you, or we listen to you, or we watch you, or whatever, depending what the, you know, if it's a footballer or whatever. Yeah. And I thought to myself, but I'm actually having to say to people, no, you're actually my hero. You know, I don't just like you, you're my hero. You know,
embarrassing.
Yeah, I know. It's embarrassing for everyone because you don't normally, you know. I mean, us Australians are usually quite reticent about such matters. You know,
that's right. I'm always totally in awe of it because it's something I can't do, and I've gone to a few of the big gigs like the rugby and the football, where I get terribly nervous before Noel goes on. I get really nervous because I can't do it. So I guess in a way I'm sort of going, oh, if I had to go out there now, I'd die.
Pedestals can crumble.
Thank you, thank you.
You're good. Oh, does this.
Bloody old fart. Pedestals can crumble given time. Some things don't age like vintage wine. White knights don't always see the danger. That's how it is with old heroes like me. Breaking things that I don't understand. Just letting things get slightly out of hand. That doesn't mean I'm making any changes. I'm a rust on old heroes like me. Or even a trick horse may stumble. And if I stumble, I will surely fall. Just throw me the ball and I will fumble. But I once had it all. I once had it all. Old dogs, old tricks, they never change. complexities of life with rearrange. Never let it go, we'll just try to make it grow.
I go to the march every year to cheer them on, to pay homage. Not all of them wear medals, and they're just ordinary blokes, but I think they're all legends. I just wish I could thank them all personally, you know, shake their hands and say, well done, lads. Okay, so now we'll have a go this week and see how we go. Now, I probably can't see around the camera now, I suppose. Oh, at long last, you absolute little ripper. I finally got there about 4 weeks after I should have. 99. Far out. Okay, that's exactly 40 kilos I've lost now. That was my first goal, 99. So I finally got to the first hurdle. Unreal. Well, really, you know, I mean, a standing ovation would be appropriate. Unfortunately, we just seem to be lacking the audience. Never mind. I'll just have to carry on as though I really did get a standing ovation. When I was younger, I used to, like narcissists, spend a lot of time looking at my own reflection. And I used to wonder what it was that made me just look plain and made other people look, well, you know, pretty or good looking. And I used to look and I used to think, you know, what would it take? You know, if my eyes were further apart or closer together, or if my nose was thinner or longer or shorter, or my mouth turned up instead of down. If my hair was curly instead of just wavy, or if it was dead straight, or if I had nice straight white teeth instead of horrible ones. Don't know. Would plastic surgery help? Maybe it would at that. Here's Mum and Dad's wedding photo. Aren't they gorgeous? I could never work out how people who look like that could have a child as plain as me, but they managed it somehow. This is me in my first year of high school. I've always hated having my photo taken, and it shows. And these are my brothers. That's Ken there with the dark hair, and the little blonde angel is Glenn. When I was a child, Ken was probably about my first hero. He's 8 years older than me, and it was sort of like having another grown-up in the family. Glenn's 4 years older, and we were like sworn enemies. We argued just about every day of our lives, right up until the day he got married, and we never had an argument since. It's funny. They were so beautiful then, but they've changed a bit. Unfortunately, I don't feel especially close to my family. We're quite friendly, and we always have fun when we get together. It's just that I don't think we have a lot of interests in common. Thing is, I guess, about not being that close, is that I haven't been able to tell them about stuff, you know? Stuff that's been pretty important to me. I never told them I was depressed, although they probably guessed that something was wrong. I never told them about my IQ or why I suddenly decided to go back to school. Sometimes it's easier to keep things to yourself. And then when I needed to talk about things, it seemed easier to talk with strangers or people outside the family. What if you're busy Monday and have to cancel? Who will I talk to then? Okay, well, Monday at 7 then. Jeff, I need you to keep talking. Somehow it feels a bit better when I have someone to talk to. I need someone to talk to. I really need someone just to talk. Righto. Yep. All right, see you then. If I don't have someone to talk to, I'll die. That's what I want, isn't it? Yeah, but first I want to talk to someone. Don't go. Please talk to me. Goodbye. Hello, David. It's me. Nah, nothing much. I just needed someone to talk to. And that's it. So, I've just got people's comments here. What do we got here? I think you really get inside the head of someone who's depressed. Very realistic. Now, here's someone who's a bit perceptive, and I don't know who it was. Very touching, but I'm worried if you actually do feel like this. Anyway, a well-written monologue about a person on the edge. 10 out of 10 for that person for perception. Anyway, when I left home this morning, I was sailing along the road, and fair dinkum, I just had this cheesy grin on my face all the time. I was just driving along going, because I was coming away on my own. Oh, I just wanted to do it so much. I'm actually quite nervous about meeting Karen. Not meeting her, you'd like seeing her again, because it's been years. I mean, her oldest boy, Ben, he must be something like 6 or 7. And I haven't seen Karen since before he was born. I don't think I saw her while she was pregnant. So it's got to be something like 7 or maybe 8 years since I saw her. Hello?
Hello?
What's your name?
Ben.
Ben, how are you, Ben?
Hello?
You don't know me. My name's Tracey. Can I come in? Yeah. Thanks. Good boy. Thank you.
Well, we can't risk another movie.
Hello?
No, we can get through, so...
Is your name Kate?
And...
Are you Kate?
So we write it.
And this voice in the background
All right, see you later, bye-bye.
is Karen herself. Don't you just hate it when people do that?
Hi, Tracey, how are you?
I'm good.
I have a father-in-law who is permanently attached to one of these as well, so you can't do anything. So the good thing is, though, he's a man, so he doesn't quite follow you to the bathroom and the toilet.
Well,
that's the only sacred place.
I won't either. I do your deal.
You're going to turn it off, or I'm going to do this the whole time?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you could ever... I don't know if you, first of all, if you realised, and even when I tell you, I don't think you'll ever understand how depressed I was.
At school?
Yeah.
No, or later on?
Oh, well, for about... well, I'm 34 now, and I reckon it would have to be 20 years.
That you've been depressed?
Yeah.
Well, depressed. I don't know if I'd use the word depressed, like certainly not happy.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
I think it's... I find with depression that there's no... That often with people with depression, there's no ultimate goal. There's no purpose in living. You're just being.
Yeah, because you keep on drawing another breath.
Yes.
You have to breathe it back out again.
Exactly, that's right.
And then you have to breathe it back in again,
Yes.
and so it goes like that,
Yes.
yeah. I describe it to people as like having a rat's nest in my head.
Yes.
You know, like a rat's nest being dark and small and scuffling, burrowing, scuttling creatures. You know, that was like in here. But I'd written like little messages to myself.
Yeah.
You know, jump under a train, I dare you.
Oh, no.
You know, yeah, I just had this, and I had this whole little, it was a good little mural of all these, like, and I used to sit there, when I was depressed, I used to sit there and dare myself to do it.
Yes.
I dare you, jump under a train, go on, you want to die, well do it, you know.
How close did you ever get?
Like I said, it's not really funny, but I just find it highly amusing. I suppose it's relief. But I don't feel like that now. I suppose that's what it is. But I can remember this one time, and I thought, okay, you know, slash the wrist. Oh, gee, that would be painful. And you know how, like, the Romans or someone used to do it in a bath so that they didn't cramp up when the blood was flowing out? Right, but I haven't got a bath. I've only got a shower. And I think, I wonder if a shower would work. And I thought, no, I'd collapse in the shower and rigor mortis had set in. They'd have to bury me in a round coffin. You know, I'd be all scrunched in the bonus. I thought, no, that wouldn't be very good. What I did was I got the razor blade, and because you only had a little bit of the blade showing because the plastic's hard to break off, and I just sat there, and I reckon I made 50 cuts across my wrist. I mean, they're just tiny little, like a paper cut, you know, and each one would just bleed a couple of drops, and that was all. And I made about 50 of them all over there like that. And I'm going, oh, God, that hurts. You know, I said, oh, no, I'd have to do it in one sweeping slash. I mean, I couldn't just slowly do it and go, a bit more, oh, I can stand a bit more. I'd have to really slash it, you know. And I'm going, oh, but if I slash it, like, that's pretty final, you know. And then, okay, even if I change my, because I gather people do sort of start committing suicide and then change their mind or whatever. And I thought, and then I'll have a scar there forever, and everyone will know I've done it, you know. And I thought, oh, God, that'll be, I'd rather die than have that, you know, sort of thing. See, ultimately, as it turned out, and I mean, as I sort of somewhat suspected, I suppose, in the fog, you know, in there, that the key was within me, right? And that's not unusual. It's just finding it and getting in the lock and turning it, opening and pushing the door open, you know, sort of thing. It was like coming out of a dark place into the light. It was like, you know, after an operation, you wake up and your brain's got to try to sort of climb through the fog, and you've got to struggle and strive to come back to consciousness, to where you can hold a conversation with people and remember it afterwards, you know? I just felt like that. I feel I have to struggle and strive to get where I want to be, and I'll walk over anyone who gets in my way. That makes me sound really quite ruthless, and I don't know that I am. It's more like live for the moment, you know? See, when I was depressed, everything was pretty ugly in many respects, and I never imagined the future would be any better. So I ignored the future. I was like, you know, the early explorers, you know, when they got to the end of charted territory, they'd draw a line and write, "Here be dragons," because they didn't know what was ahead of them. But now I can see past the dragons, and I feel like I've got to make up for lost time. I've been in the dark place, and now I want to stay in the light, so I do what I have to do. I guess it's a little bit like the feeling, you know, if you're really hungry, you know, if you haven't eaten all day or a couple of days or whatever the case may be, you're really hungry and you haven't yet reached that point of, you know, sort of where you don't care much or whatever, but when you still actually feel actively hungry, and then you go to food and sometimes, you know, you just can't stuff it in quick enough almost, you know, you need to really hit the spot quick. And sometimes it feels like that at school, you know, I feel like I have to just claw handfuls of knowledge, you know. If you just grabbed, you know, food in your bare hands like that and just grabbed and shoved it towards your face and started eating, I mean, a lot of it would drip down the sides and, you know, on the floor and all down, like it always does when I'm eating, all down the front of me. And so it's a bit like that with the knowledge, you know, I've just kind of got to grab it and shove it in, and some of it will stick, and what sticks will be useful, you know, just like whatever food goes in the mouth would be useful. But I guess I'm missing a lot of it, and I don't know, I feel really selfish, and I almost don't care if I'm disruptive in class as long as I'm grabbing more and more, you know, and bringing it over here, giving it a chance to run by me, giving it a chance to stick. Now, I haven't weighed for a couple of weeks due to lack of interest. And I just weighed before, and because it looked pretty good, I thought it was worth doing again, for your sake. Now, I can hardly stand still, and I can't see around the camera, but before when I weighed it was 96, so I was pretty happy about that. Okay, and I'm fogging up the viewfinder, so I can't see a damn thing. But anyway, it's nice to record an actual loss for a change. Now, today is Monday. Oops, hang on. Today is Monday, the 17th of July. And I'm pretty excited because yesterday, when I was down at Mum and Dad's, I was able to get my... Rosie! Bitch! Go away! Go on! Naughty cat. Got a cat swinging off my mic cord. I'm pretty excited because yesterday, when I went down to Mum and Dad's, I was able to get my bathers. And so, here they are. I need a drum roll. So here I am. Except that I've just ripped the microphone right off. Hang on, let's try that again. I'll have to pin it there somewhere and just hope you can hear me from there. There we go. Now, isn't that wicked? And I said to Dad, now you'd never guess why you haven't got a son-in-law, Dad, would you, when you see me like this? And I cut a fine figure in bathers. They're absolutely hideous. Mum made it. She's got no idea how to make bathers, and she didn't have a pattern, so she cut up my old bathers. And I chose the material ages ago, and it's absolutely awful, but I couldn't get any black. So there you go. And I like bloomer pants. I don't like short little pants. I like ones that'll cover me all over and stay on me. So there you go. And so now I'm going swimming. Right. Yeah. And I can't be bothered how I look, otherwise I'd never go anywhere. Good one, George. Good one. And Rosie, if you touch that cord again, I'll kill you. So how's that? Yeah, right. I loved being there when Gabler kicked his 100th goal again this year. I love sharing my hero with others who think he's great. And I really loved the moment when I was at one with the crowd and we all sort of went, yes, he's done it! I had a revelation today at school, which was exciting, and just suddenly came to me just towards the end of performance writing, and I was so ticked off and surprising I could think of anything. And I suddenly realised that basically I'm a good person. Oh God, I amuse myself, I can't help it. There's no one else here. Who else is going to amuse me if I don't? Right. Now with a straight face. No, my revelation was that I'm basically a good person. So isn't that exciting? It's only taken me nearly 35 years to discover that. Better late than never, they say. And I decided that what other people think of me is rather less important than what I think of me. I mean, I could just feel almost like the proverbial millstone around the neck. I could feel it loosening. I could feel it detaching. And then it was sort of gone. And it was sort of like, hey, guess what? I'm not depressed. Oh, yeah, you know. I mean, I get down, I get blue, I get low, whatever. Wonderful. That's right. But I keep saying to the camera, like, this is what it's meant to be like. This is what life, I'm sure it's what it's meant to be like, where it's not perfect. It's never perfect. It's not plain sailing, but it's a bit up and down. And I keep thinking to myself, is this joie de vivre? Which is how you pronounce it. But is this, you know, is this what it is, you know? Is this what people talk about? Like, people who say they enjoy life, is this how they feel? Yes. Where, you know, I mean, you just bubble with good humour sometimes, you know? You just sort of laugh because it's fun, you know? Or because you're able, I don't know. But, yeah. So what was the question you asked me? Daisy. Daisy. Don't you want me to film you anymore, Bub?
Once had it all. Old dogs, old tricks, they never change. The niceties of life we rearrange. Never let it go. We'll just try to make it grow. That's how it is with old heroes like me. White knights don't always see the danger. That's how it is with old heroes like me.